so I get more context.
Hello, everybody. We're just popping up here with Paulina, and decide to making a surprise for you, just popping up. We're gonna be talking about the higher guidance for your twin flame journey. Let's see what we are gonna be doing it for you. But it's important that when you look at it, this higher guidance is to listen yourself, listen to the depth from within you, not like this guidance that you had from programming, parents, situations, or friends. You know, those close friends that they failed things from with them and so on. It was so interesting. Last night, I was walking the dog, and I see the people, talking, and one of the person, he's my neighbor, and stopped me for a second, and so I was hearing their conversation. It was like, no, this is not gonna happen. I have this, but guy told me it's not gonna happen. That guy told me it's not gonna happen. That guy's not gonna happen. And I wanted to go ahead and say to this person, what do you think will be if you do not listen all these negative energies in there? So we're gonna be talking about the higher guidance up here, and I'm gonna pass in the mic to Paulina. Okay.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, we kind of discussed that a little bit, and we wanted to comment how our higher self is guiding us on this journey. And if you will take time to reconnect with your higher self or with your inner self, you will recognize that there is always some kind of information coming from the source, coming from your inner internal voice, talking to you when you're supposed to do some next step, or maybe you should not be doing some steps. So you will start realizing those internal nuggets. Uh, it, some people call it gut feeling, but they will basically be guiding you towards doing things in a specific moments. Or maybe if you keep pushing too much towards one direction that it's no longer beneficial for you or positive for you, it will also keep you maybe a little bit taking you off the wrong path. Um, so that's just a little bit introduction for me, that if you make do your work and strengthen your connection with your inner self, this voice that is initially very tiny, and those are like a little whispers, it will become stronger and stronger and will be helping you to guide you towards the right path.
Talking about this for right now, you see inside of you this higher self that can make the difference. All of a sudden, you get this internal knowledge that somehow it kind of like a process from within you, but somehow still don't accept it. Still fighting in there. And the higher guidance is keep coming in, keep coming in. This is like you're trying to walk away from the journey, but you're coming back. You're trying to push things away, but they're coming back. And that higher uh, guidance, it begins to come in a lot of forms. A lot of forms that is like numbers, kind of like conversations that you overheard, or things that comes in into you that they are uh, powerful in a way, but you don't pay attention until they don't click within your journey. It takes your time, a little time to process this, but sometimes that process is an instant. And that is a moment to recognize your connection with your higher self, with that guidance that comes in for your higher self. You look at it on their energy. Their energy, it is just like a coming strong and powerful for you. Is a lot of situations that can come in into that. You're going to experience a lot of things, but the higher consciousness is going to be coming in and telling you, look here, look here. I mean, I had to fight 4 weeks until I figured it out. Like, I'm looking soulmates, and I'm like, no, this is not the connections I experience. My higher self tells me you need to look more deep, more deep. You have to investigate more. I was getting up at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning just to search the types of spiritual connections between people. What is this all about? And I see this word that says twin flame, and I keep skipping it. I keep skipping it until one day it's like, okay, dear, enough is enough. Why just not click on that word? What is this word twin flame is? Describe that journey as a twin flame. But I had to pass it so long time until I was clicking there. Compared to, I found that link on the first day. But guess what? My personal not listening to that higher consciousness within led me to like 2-3 weeks waiting in there.
I think what happens also, like we tend to change those. The universal energies will be speaking to us in a different forms. So it may happen that for some time on your journey, you will be seeing numbers, repetitive numbers, and then you will be researching all of them. Then you will maybe starting getting the messages in the dreams. Like some people don't see these connections right away because I think it depends which stage of the journey you are. But basically, those inner sources of information will be talking to you in different forms, and I just start to see that it's very flexible, it's very fluid. So even though all your journey you thought like you have this source of information coming to you through angel numbers, it can change. It can be starting coming to you through random conversation just overheard. And at some point you will realize that it's always there are so many sources of internet on this guidance and information that you can just take on, but you just have to be open to listen and just stay more flexible, more open, because sometimes it just takes a little bit of this practice to really stay, um, to maybe accept that those sources, those inner guidance will be coming in different forms. And it's very interesting because sometimes it's very complex. Like sometimes if it comes through people, for example, you will be guided to this very random person on a street or have this random conversation, and you will overhear either some keyword or some sentence that's very important for you to reach the next step, or you are wondering about something and someone will talk about exactly the same topic, or you will have a people who are going through exactly the same experience, so you can compare how you're dealing with that, and they will give you another perspective. So I think the more you stronger just reconnect to yourself, you will see how more and more complex it is. It's not always like very clear. You will see that sometimes there's just so many meanings, and you will get this kind of symbolism in your head, or there are just so many different ways that you should not get stuck, because it will be also kind of modifying a longer journey. That also keeps it interesting. Like you don't want to get stuck in one point.
No, I don't want to get stuck at the one point because of stickiness in the journey. All of a sudden, it begins to be like you're this uh, great energy inside of you. You're in this great position where you're stuck. And now imagine this energy comes in as a ball, and all it does is shaking and vibrating. And it's this vibrations begins bigger and bigger and bigger, trying to get in a stuck, but you can't until you don't get this guidance that tells you, okay, lift yourself up because you're in the hole, you're stuck in there. Go up there, see what the things are, and continue moving as energy. Continue rolling as a ball into the road. But a lot of the times in there, we as a human We have this internal blockages. We block in this higher guidance from within ourselves. The higher guidance sometimes it comes in as a Paulina said in different ways, but it can come to your dreams. It can come in. You open up your page of on your computer, you log into your social media, wherever, and all of a sudden, exactly what you've been asking for, it's popping up in there. You know, like, oh my God, no, this cannot be truth. You're automatically rejecting it to yourself. Or informations that you consciously knows, and then the side of it, and you see this informations, and you're like, no, 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 this cannot be because it won't fit my picture, it won't fit my stuff, it won't fit my ideas. Like for me, I was searching what is wrong with me when I was getting awakened. I'm like, no, this is not a twin flame. I don't know what this twin flame is. It's the same thing that you have to be open within yourself to see what the knowledge leading you, what the guidance leading you within. And then that guidance is gonna be that's what it is, that's what its purpose, to guide you on the road as a twin flame. And when you flow with that, when you're flowing with them, you're actually appreciating the guides, the guidance that you get in it there. You begin to enjoy that journey. I mean, that's how I put it in my case. I mean, the journey is amazing in its way about that.
Yeah, one other thing I wanted to mention is regarding the soul connections, because it's this guidance, it won't be coming just in terms of like a signs, or you will just start noticing the messages from external sources. But it's also, you should be aware of the connections that are coming to you, towards you, because they normally also come for a purpose. And it's, the purpose are different groups. Sometimes it's, the purpose is to heal you, to help you in this healing process. Sometimes they have to mirror something. Sometimes you, it can help you to track the progress. So for example, in the beginning you tend to somehow attract those kind of a toxic relationships, but then you started doing your inner work, you started looking more towards what was wrong in the previous relationships, and you may start realizing that, oh, it gets healthier, and I start attract and manifest those more balanced and more healthy relationships. So I think also connections with other people are a very good source of this information for us, just to really keep a balance, and also just, it's additional help and additional guidance in our journey. So I think, if maybe it's even one of the most important ones, because there are so many lessons that we can learn from other people, either by taking their example if they have been through some things, or even by enter help, like allowing them to enter to our field, just taking the information they want to share, or taking the knowledge or experience they want to share with you. Or maybe you have to get engaged emotionally with them just to be able to overcome some of those things. So I think this is just additional part how we are getting. And also, of course, like we are entering, or we are getting the chance to get ignited by our twin flame in the first place. And who was orchestrating that? It was your higher self as well. So I think that starts way before. And this higher self connection is just guiding you since the ignition, maybe even this whatever happened before in your life. Since the ignition through separation phase, all the time this connection is there. It gets stronger, and when you start shifting your perspective towards that way, how the higher self was really helping you to orchestrate this journey, you will start being more appreciative, and you will be grateful that those signs and this help is always there. It's just really, if you try to analyze your journey from that perspective, try to find a situation or those kind of a little intuitive nuggets that you are getting along the journey, you will recognize that you are never left out. Sometimes we may not know, we may not like the information that a higher self is pointing us towards. We may be rejecting because that doesn't match your vision that you have. But it just requires a little bit of this observation state. Just be objective and see what comes to you. That doesn't mean to really help you, or like, what is this, the purpose of those things coming to you?
I get some jolts in here. Um, one thing, guys, you need to get at it that relationship between you and that higher guidance that you get in it is in the twin flames journey. You'll understand its purpose down the road because they're going to give you new information. They're going to be giving you a advanced information. They will understand exactly what you need and how do you need it for. And that is it about you to believe in them because they believe in you. It's very important that when you're getting into this, all of a sudden you will get in a consciousness, you will get in informations that you will wonder how the heck got in you. And you know what? You go, you research the informations that you got, and you're finding that it's too advanced even for people who are studying this on a professional level. But you know it. How do you know it? You get it to that higher guidance inside of it within for your twin flames journey. Because somehow you have to understand it. Somehow you have to go ahead and do it in there. I gotta recognize people in the chat. Erica, Jacob, thank you for coming in. Glad to see you here, guys, and everyone else. But look at it. This higher guidance in there for the journey. This is your GPS of your soul. This is the your Google Maps when you go in and are driving in a place you never been before. If I have to put it in that way, this higher guidance, it is there for you to navigate the journey, but also you can get that journey and apply it here. You basically to apply this higher level of consciousness, this higher level of vibrations, this higher level of emotions, energies that coming out of you as an energy for you to go ahead and give it to the people so they can see it through you to become this example. And then the more people becomes like this, the more higher consciousness it's coming into you. The more you're living out from within you, the more it's coming within you. And the more advanced you become with them, the more your relationship with the guidance comes in. Guys, the better it gets. Okay, the better it gets for it. And hi, Blossom. Thank you for coming in. And if you guys can have any questions, how is it within? But I think that a lot of the people is going to be like Dio, but I got a guidance, but didn't happen. Or I thought that I got this, but it didn't happen. If you look at it of the things inside of you, every time when you apply certain words, pay attention to the keywords. Maybe, could have, should have, I think, I thought, and so on. That is when you have doubts. So the higher consciousness is giving you the informations and they're telling you, go verify it. And this is what actually me and Paulina did, that every time within our journey, I mean, we are like, I don't know what to describe on that part. Maybe they should have hired us somewhere as investigators. We just goes in and through the computers, he just like, okay, this is here, this is here. Oh, I got it. That's how it goes. Boom, 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 boom. But works through the higher consciousness. Is that higher guidance within our higher consciousness? It's in the same length and provides that beautiful understandings about the journey. But let me tell you what is the benefit. It helps us to understand the journey much better. It begins to understand that journey on a whole another level. And it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. But we are listening to that guidance. And when you listen to that guidance, you're listening to your soul. You're listening to your true self of who you are. And what did you came in that journey as a twin flame. So back to you, darling.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of effort to build this connection and to really trust the energies because they won't be if you put them aside and, for example, your mind is occupied with your life, let's say like 3D situation, they won't be interacting with you that much if you don't give the space, because you still have free will. So it's up to you to create the space and work on that. And for some people it's either through meditation or long walks in the nature. I think like we all know what would work best for us, just to really reconnect. But we have to give it like a green light, because again, we have a free will. So if we are not ready with our journey to get more information from above, from inside, whatever, however you describe it, because we just were also talking about it, that this guidance is all around us. You cannot place it in a space. If you say above, it's, I don't think it explains all of that very well. So if you're really open to this, I would say, external guidance, that it's orchestrating your journey and give it a green light, you will start noticing more and more information coming to you. But also, I wanted to mention one thing, that somehow you have to be mindful that um, those information can be, information is objective, but you can also, your mind can twist it a little bit. So you will hear something or you will see something, but then you will interpret it according to your mind state. So I think that's why many people can have misinterpretation or miscommunication with their higher self, where, for example, they are getting guidance on their twin flame journey, let's say about divine masculine. Let's say there is some information about divine masculine, they are understanding themselves as divine feminines, and automatically whatever information is coming to them, they will associate this information with the specific person that they understand as their twin flame, because they, it's all in terms of a labeling. It's just our minds will always try to put a face on the information we are getting. So if there will be any kind of a guidance in terms of twin flame journey, if you have in your mind just this specific person, instead of looking into all journey as a whole, you can misinterpret those signs. So I think with this, I just wanted to say that you have to stay open, and just, if you get this nuggets or this information, don't try to put it into onto someone else. Just remember that if you have something regarding divine masculine, divine feminine, we are both. Like, it's not, it's never, this guidance is never regarding other person, because we are not predicting the future. We are not reading people's mind here. This guidance means just to guide you on the journey, and we all have our own guidance. So that's very important, just because our minds can play the tricks. So just remember that, whatever information you're getting, just take off the focus of another person. This guidance is for you. So how I can use this information just to navigate my journey better. So that was a little bit of a tip.
Yeah, talking about the guidance, you begin to understand that, as Paulina said here, something very interesting about if when you put pictures of things, okay, you labeling things. Another thing it is that when you look at it, those informations, those guidance that you get in it, specifically that she said about the divine feminine, divine masculine, guys, if you are biology, feminine energy, as a physicality, you have female, okay? But you have more masculine energies inside of you. For example, you looking at those energies so I can understand what masculine is. But that also shows up the underdevelopment of the feminine energy as a feminine, as you choose to have feminine body, is the other way around. So basically, when you meet a person, okay, that is a masculine but with a lot of feminine energies, you actually see what you're missing within you. And you're like, oh, this person is going to be giving me what I miss. And it is about you to look at that person, what is giving it to you. And then when you're getting the understanding right within yourself about the both sides, talking about divine feminine, divine masculine, the higher guidance kicks in and it gives you a guidance in both realms. It gives you information and a guidance how should be act as a feminine energy, how should be acting as a masculine energy. And then both individuals get this information through the communications, through the understanding within themselves, within the energies. And then, guess what? The proper actions are coming from both because through the unifications. But you're getting how to put your mindset, how to put everything within you, you're getting from the higher guidance from within. And this is why the more you're trusting in that higher guidance, the better it gets. The better it gets because there is no personality involved in there. You're only working within the consciousness, the higher consciousness that ignited you, the higher consciousness that brought you here. And that's what this is. Lorian, glad to see you here. Moni, thank you for coming in. Anytime you guys have some questions, you guys can ask. There was something to add, but went out of my mind about this guidance in there.
One thing it came to me now that that's quite important for you to recognize and be, let's say, grateful, because many people are treating their journey as, oh my God, this is a punishment, and they don't, and they are kind of feeling that the higher self or whatever, like universe in their life, is punishing them with this journey, instead of looking back, trying to see the changes that the journey imposed on them. So what kind of changes created in your life this were created based on the journey, like from the moment, for example, that you got ignited, how your life started to get unfold. And I think it's very important, because also somehow I realized that the more grateful you are in the journey, just put just a positive mm, I would say emotions or feelings towards your journey in general, it kind of strengthens this connection as well. Because just imagine, by default, we are supposed to grow on this journey. We are supposed to progress. And again, it's kind of your responsibility how you want to see this journey. Do you really want to see it as a punishment, or do you want to see as a constant change? Because all of those changes that are happening in your life, they bring another possibilities, and they bring more connections into your life. So I think that's one big shift that people should implement, because it looks to me that more grateful you are for the journey and more excited you are about the journey, you will start really noticing how all of these things are orchestrated, and they are, of course, you get a signpost for that, like how to navigate them. But I just realized that the gratitude is a big part of it that makes it more smooth, and it really strengthens this connection even more.
Some question from Mooney. Dio, can you explain the five language of love? What has to do with feminine and masculine energies? Are they different? Uh, they actually, if I have to put it that way, I mean, the physical, the emotional, the energetical level, the heart level, the mind love in there. But when you kick it in a spiritual, universal love language, which is it's even higher than that, because sometimes you will understand that the twin flame is a little different. Some of the things that are explained in there, they are not going, if you're referring to the book, the five love languages in there. But I'm talking about you to begin to understand, for example, as a masculine, you need to learn to have patience. Patience to listen to the feminine energies and to put your pride and ego as a masculine energies in your back pocket and listen what the feminine energy is. You to understand the feminine energy's intuitions is more bigger. And let me tell you why. Because it's a missing piece within the masculine intelligence, the masculine intuition. Now, when the feminine intuition kicks in within the masculine and give that piece, the masculine intuition kicks higher. But how many divine masculine energies that you know have intuition? Do you know that very small amount of people who are masculine, they have intuitions? Do you know why? Because they're gonna look girlish, they're gonna be looking feminish, they're gonna be looking like that. They begin to not listen the guidance within themselves so they can be the power of the masculine. You need to understand the masculine powers also involve intuition. It's a little different. It's little different. The masculine intuition is operating of knowing the things of order, while the feminine energy, it is intuitions of how the things can be put in order. There's a two different point of views of the same thing. And when they are working it together, which is I'm talking about the two pillars right there. That is the authorities and intuitions within. That's how you begin to build the rest of the attention, the gentleman's, the etiquette, the ethics, the morals. But it begins there, of that beginning of cooperations between, in a personal level, between intuition and authority within a both individual. Okay, that is a your ethics, how you to respond with energy, with spirit, with everything within inside of you. This is not like in the regular relationships, doing things. It's a completely different story. I mean, at some point, the book can help the five love languages in there, but in the spiritual realms, in the twin flame, in the divine partnerships, is not enough. It's required a little bit more. It's required a little different ethics in there. So, yeah.
Yeah, I just pasted them. So that's from this book. Maybe for some people who are not aware of that, I just listed there, and it looks to me that I think we can develop somehow all of them. It's like we should at least maybe try, because maybe there
Okay.
are things that we are not familiar with, and I think it's by learning to do all of them, because also we don't know what's, for example, the main love language of our partner. I think that's something that we learn throughout the relationship, but I think it's just, even for us as a person and for our development, it's good to implement, be able to include all of them, because maybe there will be, if we have problem with one of them, maybe there is a reason for that, like why we are blocking that, why we don't feel comfortable expressing our love this way. So I think, I don't know if there is a relationship, maybe there is somehow, it's connected to our divine, like a feminine and masculine side. Maybe masculine energies would be more towards just showing their love instead of talking about it. I don't know, it's that would be a new concept. It would be interesting to
Yeah,
see what they're
but
coming.
when you look at it more, it's about the affirmations, what the affirmations are. I know how to cook. They got married and so on, and she cannot cook. Now the men don't see this situations talking about that words. I mean, quality time. Most people don't understand the power of the quality of time. But when you're looking at right now in here, within a spirit, within a situations, is like our affirmations is involving third party, which is the spirit, is the guidance in there, how to navigate it. So, for example, here in the spirituality, you feel the things. You trust your feelings, you trust the energies, you trust the vibes, and you trust the guidance. So when we're talking about the affirmations here, the affirmations is coming in, it's like, oh my God, we have the same consciousness, or we have this deeper understanding, or we have this very beautiful correlations that goes in within you, within us. This is a healthy relationship. I never been in a healthy relationship before. And now you go out there and you study the healthy relationships, and now you get these affirmations for your connections from within you, but then you get in the affirmations within your um within your partner. I mean, quality time. It is a beautiful thing. How many people can do this quality time, even on a regular basis? And that. What is the quality time means for you? Because the standard as a quality time is rising up in there. That is the times when you actually spend the time with the person. First of all, within yourself, but then the quality time with the person who loves you. What are you going to do about this quality time? How are you going to do it? Some of the people, they cannot, they always find things to do. So they're afraid of this quality time. In the spiritual realms, in the twin flames, that is when you actually undress your soul. How many people undressing their soul and have a quality time with their naked souls? It's a different. So I don't know, darling. You can take over because.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what I wanted to share there. And there was a comment. Yeah, that's what I thought. All of them are important at some time. I don't think there is no specific package. All is important in life. There is no box, and I think that's with any kind of different types of anything. It's all applies. Like we just okay, we have a preference, or we can be more suited to or to express our feelings this or that way, maybe more for acting. But still, if you have problem talking about your love, expressing your love in words, maybe that can also tell you like why is it like maybe in the past I didn't have a chance to learn this. And if you see it from that way, it's just okay, let me work on that, like just for myself. It's of course like partner will be grateful for it because your partner will understand that it's not your default love language, let's say, but it's more you're doing it for yourself because you don't want to have limits probably in how you want to express this love. So if you're in this challenger mode, you will see okay, I have troubles with that, let me work on that, and let me see, maybe I will like enjoy expressing my love this way. Mm.
Yeah, you can put things on a
Just
box,
for this time.
especially love. Yeah. You're welcome, Mooney. You're welcome. I hope you get the point that, I mean, we have to look at it, get the examples from what psychology, philosophy does, and spirituality, all that stuff, great. But when we're talking about the spirituality connections, the soul connections, they're going even higher realms and they're above and beyond. Because let me tell you, the guides, the higher guidance, gosh, they can really, uh, sometimes when you need to kick in the rear end, you get the kick in the rear end. You to go ahead and move up in there. But they give us an advance, the next level, the next things, the next stages in there. If we develop it along with love language, that is so different. I mean, she and I, for example, we can sit on a camera and talk about it. She doesn't say a word. But I know that love that comes from her just comes in and just pouring, pouring out. But it's not in the book. Can you explain that? But we know what the higher guidance says. She loves it, you. She just look at me with that light in there. Powerful light comes in from her heart, from her eyes, from everything. It streams out.
Sorry. Hands down. Just crashing into the
I
table.
wanted to share the beautiful energy, darling. So there we go. you have no guidance. That's where the higher guidance it comes in. And all I say is just like, I know, darling, I love it. She knows. Right there. And talking about with all this for you is, are you listening exactly that higher guidance that's teaching you this? You to perform it, but you also to receive it. Is this energy's exchange between you two. Is that magnificent love. As the ways a lot of the people wanted to have it. Everyone is available to have it. But they don't listen to their consciousness, their higher consciousness first within themselves. And if they don't listen to higher consciousness, there is no way how they're going to get this higher guidance in the journey. There you go. That's what this is about. Hi, Lorna. Oh, there you go.
See you.
Jinx.
Yeah, one other thing is I wanted to comment this higher guidance, as we said, like it starts to kick in very early in the journey. And first, what it tries to tell you, that's I believe, it tries to reconnect you with yourself. Just try to teach you how to love yourself first, and then it's all about. I think like throughout the journey, the default state would be really to connect you with some other individual on a soul level. But first, you have to be prepared for that. So I think this kind of higher guidance that it's kind of gives you the sign where to develop or how to develop along your journey. The first goal would be not necessarily to put you in a connection that you are in this with this person until the end of your life. It's just first, it's really the main purpose is just to get you to this stable state of a union with yourself. So it's just until you know this, and you will know when you're in union with yourself, but until you don't reach this union state, you feel like there is still some things to improve in me, because still, let's say I'm 70% ready to enter a relationship, but something will be telling you, just wait a little bit more, just do a little bit of more this work. Just because you may be tempted, for example, to enter some relationship because you were alone for a long time, but something will be telling you, oh, I'm not entirely ready, like let me put it off for a bit. And just really during this time also listen to what your inner self is teaching you. And then after that, after you've done your work, and be sure, if you've done your work and you are in union with yourself and you cannot move yourself higher as an individual, you will be matched with someone else, and your higher guidance will guide towards that connection too. But the first part is just to develop this self-love. And it's I think that's how it's navigated. At least that's how it looks to me right now.
That self-love actually is crucial, because the self-love is the key to your higher consciousness in there. If you don't love yourself, is your guide still going to love you? They want to give you the gift of love, but you don't love yourself. And now you're like, okay, I need love. I want love. But you want the love the way you want it. How do you know that the love, the higher guidance inside it doesn't bring you even to a higher level? And most people don't know that until there is no ignitions in the soul. And then like, oh my God, now what? Where is this love? Why do I feel like this? What is this going on within me? What did you do to me? What is these situations? You begin to search for answers. And you find yourself in the twin flame journey. And now the twin flame journey is asking, okay, here we go. You find yourself in the twin flame journey. Now begin to understand yourself. But I want her. I pray to God all the time to be with her and so on. So, no. It's about you. But what happens? There are separations. And the journey tells you, you have to learn to love yourself. Well, no. I want her. She too loves me. That's going to be plenty enough for me. Now you're depending on her energy or depending on his energy for the love. And the journey says like, self-love. When you begin to love yourself, you actually fulfilling the things inside of it. And your consciousness rising, and then your consciousness is rising. Now you begin to listen. You begin to listen. And when you listen within your soul, you listen in the higher guidance. And the more you listen to guidance, the journey begins. Better. Just better. Yeah, once in a while, maybe things go well when you go left or you go right, but it's a journey. Might as well enjoy it. And yeah, if you need, you don't need 3D rules. There is just their help to what already there in the 5D. Moni, one thing, thank you for the good questions. Thank you for the participations in the chat. Glad to see you here. But talking about these 3D rules. So we were talking with this, but some of the people that maybe didn't got it. The reason you go into a 5D is because something in the 3D is not correct. So if 3D is right in here, for example, and here it's the 5D, you're going from the 3D, you get to the higher consciousness, you get the higher consciousness, and now some of the people, they stay there. The purpose you're getting this higher consciousness, and your purpose within the Twin Flames journey is to get that higher consciousness right here, and you to bring it down into the 3D and change the rules, the old rules that prevents people to understand the right love. Now we're talking, you are performing your higher consciousness. You're not just getting at the higher consciousness so you can just understand it. Thanks. You have to do something in there. You have to do something in the 3D. But that is it when you begin to understand the purpose of the Twin Flame journey. Your journey. You're here to change a template. Those 3D rules in there that been suppressing people to understand the proper values of love there. Hi, Elizabeth. Thank you for coming in here. So, I mean, that's what I would say. If any one of you have any other comments or questions, you guys can say about it. There, Paulina, darling, if you have anything to add.
Yeah, maybe add something on this 3D versus 5D. Sometimes it's just easy to say in 5D because you're getting this consciousness, but then in 3D it would require you to just rethink some things, or just change your behavior in some way. And the whole purpose of a union, it's not just to stay as high as you can all the time, because if you talk about the union, you have to have a union in every dimension, including 3D. So it's like you cannot maintain your union if you keep neglecting that, or wish that, or think that everything will be sorted out if we are connected in higher dimensions. Because and sometimes it's even more tricky, because at some point maybe you will also, people notice that it's easier to stay in these higher dimensions than work on 3D, because 3D feels low. But honestly, you cannot merge all those dimensions if you have something unhealed or something unresolved in 3D. So as much as it may seem boring, because it's regarding boring life situations, including living together and doing shop and all of this. And I think it's maybe at some point, since in Twin Flame journey, from the union begin as higher dimensions, the way you go lower and lower and lower, you will gonna merge in 3D too, but it requires some work. It won't come on its own the same way. I think maybe the work and unions in higher dimensions happen easier because we don't control them that much. It kind of happens. But then the lower you go, the more interaction it requires on your side, you really have to perform it. And that's your responsibility to how to use this knowledge. Deep inside, you know what does it mean to have a balanced relationship, but how you navigate your triggers from the past so you can have this balanced relationship, not just in your mind or in 5D, but how you can live through that to give people example and make this template in 3D, because that's how where it manifests, right?
Yeah. Before hi Bianca, thank you for coming in. Before I start with you, I want to add something. You already know why you're doing this. Imagine right here on the 3D, there is this problems, these situations that triggers you. It's like there's gotta be something more. The life cannot be because of these 3D rules. The life cannot be all this. So guess what? You're like a third grader that goes all the way up into the graduating a college degree, or you becoming a professor, and now because you're a professor, you have to perform it down here on the 3D to change all this, to change all that. And as Paulina said in there, our 5D connections, our 5D union within the divine and divine guidance in there, the inner peace, oh, we can stay there forever. But what did the guide said? Okay, here you go. You learned, you have to perform. You were born, you went to school, you learn. It's the same path within the divine. You go in there, you learn to that higher guidance, which is there teaching you. And now, since you already learned, the higher guidance says like, there you go. We taught you so you can perform. So the next time, the next after you, they're gonna be learned. So the next time, the next generations, we're gonna teach them even higher. But if you sitting there in the 5D connections, you're only talking about all this knowledge and so on. You're not performing it in there. You're not doing something to change it in there. You're basically doing the half, you know what I'm talking about, job. Okay? You're just halfway in there with it. But when you go down, it's the interesting part. Because when you go down, you bring in this high vibrations down. You bring the heaven on earth down. You bring in all this understanding. You're overcoming the same issues you are going in to learn it, how to overcome. You're facing the same things, but now you know how to face them, you know how to work them out, you know how to deal with everything. But again, the guidance is guiding you on the way up, also guides you on the way down with that divine energies inside of you. So, Bianca, hi, thank you for your words. After almost 7 years, I'm struggling from time to time. The separation period is too hard from some time. Bianca, I will suggest that take a look at it, why the separations is so hard. Usually the separations are hard because there is some separation from within you. When you look at it in there, the separation period, it's coming in to tell you what kind of like a work you have to do within you. I mean, the separations within us was that we had to go ahead and learn how to be independent. We had to be growing up within us, not to depending on other people in there. And also the separations is telling us like, hey, that's how it goes. That's how the things are. I mean, darling, if you have anything to say about this, but that's how I, from my side, that's what I see, because the separation took so long because I was still longing someone to fulfill what I need until I understood I had to build it from within. Once I built it from within, there was no separations. Once I built from within, I was like, I don't worry if I'm gonna be in a relationship. If I have to be in a relationship, that relationship's gonna come on its own under the divine. But I'm not gonna look for it. I'm not looking for it. Why? The higher guidance says one thing, you're gonna be attracting if something needs to be done. But I was okay if I'm in a relationship or if I'm not in a relationship. But that is at the moment when you are ready. Either way, you are ready with the higher consciousness and you to serve the divine thing there.
Mm. I think there is a, like, it doesn't, 7 years, it's a long journey. I think it's still, no matter how long the separation lasts, like, it's not supposed to be super colorful all of the time. Like, we have to go, we were talking about in some other videos that you have to go to these lower states too, because you just imagine you're rewriting whatever was not properly written in the first place. So you don't want to leave any of those lower layers of yourself untouched. It's not comfortable to work on them, but they will be coming back if for some reason you are just neglecting them. Because once you start working this higher dimensions and high vibe and everything is so beautiful, of course you don't want to go back there. But there is a beauty in that, because you will realize that anytime you will try to address, oh, why do I feel that uncomfortable in this stage? Like, the separation is hard, but maybe you're missing someone. But why do you really miss them? Like, is it about like physical, or maybe it's like some emotional support? And maybe that means that, oh, you won't be getting this emotional support from this specific person, but look outside how your world is looking right now. Maybe you're getting this emotional support from other people, and just really recognizing what is this tiny thing that makes this journey or this stage uncomfortable. Because it's not for you to ignore those moments, because I don't believe that's the way forward. Because step by step you will realize that you will really start enjoying this, not only separation, because you will not see that as a separation, you will see that as your personal time that you've given to yourself, and you can do whatever you want. You're not depending on anyone, and you're really starting to be happy, because you will see, you will start enjoying just your own company, and you will be grateful that, oh my god, I have all this time to myself, and I don't have to think about other people, whether I want to do this or that. You just do what you want. But just not to neglect those lower moments. They are necessary, and they are very useful too. So,
Those lower moments, they show you what you need to develop. If you look at those lower moments, Bianca, they're gonna help you to understand the development that you need to be within you. And if you listen your higher consciousness within yourself, the higher guidance is gonna tell you this is what you need to work on it and you need to develop. That's a part of the inner work you do. But once you get in it there, you're full on your own without this need for attentions, without this codependence, or without I need exactly this person. The universe says you attached to this person, I'm not gonna give it to you. Or other case around is that the divines, they know that this person is not gonna be able to fulfill its purpose of going all the way up and coming all the way down with you. And they're like, it's not gonna happen. And you two can try anything under the sun, it's not gonna happen. There's something goes on wrong in there. There's something happens in there. The connection gets dissolved, or something goes on. But the guidance is telling you that, but you're not accepting. You need to understand that when the guidance comes into you, you have to accept the things. Okay? But looking at within yourself, remember this. On the way up, you're gonna facing some issues. On the way down, you're gonna facing the same issues. They're not gonna be different. You went to study ABCD issues, and you're gonna be seeing the DCBA issues on the way down. And now, whatever you went up, if there was a conflict in the situations, and the way down, you have to be solved those. But you may gonna, as Paulina said, be mindful about the guidance in there, because sometimes the guidance not to tweak it, personalize it for you. Oh, maybe the same thing will happen. Maybe the same thing he says, just because the energy is the same. It's the same issue, the same energy. But you have what? What is the difference? Your higher consciousness, your higher guidance is with you, and they says, now it's not different. You know how to do it. You know how to operate it. Now you're ready to navigate. How you get ready to navigate? You got the union above the 5D. But they're asking you, do you really got it? Do you really can perform it? Are you really can get in this energy down there to the 3D? So that's what this is. Moni, a lot of transformations. Oh, heck yeah. Oh, especially lately with the new energies and the energies of Age of Aquarius and all that. Ooh, man. Sometimes I feel my head full. Anna Harrington, thank you. Thank you for coming to our chat. Super interesting. Totally agree. Thanks for the following about the twin flame journey, self-healing. You're welcome. And we're happy that you're getting it.
So just to comment on that, it
Yeah.
really is a twin flame journey of self-union, because anything that comes after, that's separate chapter. Until you don't get into the moment of union, and you will really feel this when it's the right time, because you will feel you don't need anyone, you will not even want to be with anyone, because you will get this internal peace with you. And you will be concerned, because if you try to invite someone into your peaceful state, you'll be concerned, oh, won't this person be messing up with my peace? Like, I'm okay with my peace, I don't need any of those emotional ups and downs, I'm super okay right now. So that's gonna shift for sure. But also about this, how the internal guidance will be guiding you towards the specific connection, and just you will start realizing that, okay, you have someone else coming to your life, and then you do some work with them, or you engage emotionally with them, you're able to overcome some of the fears that you have, and this connection will seem to dissolve. So the person may not be interested anymore, or you will want feel this energetic connection or emotional connection with the person. It just means that you've done your work, and it just means that the person cannot get you any higher than that. Because be sure, if you're able to progress on a spiritual journey or the self-development journey with someone else, they will be able to keep the pace with you. But if you feel at some point that they are getting stuck, or they are feeling you stuck, keeping you stuck, it's just your responsibility to recognize that. And again, you have a freedom of choice. You can either acknowledge that and see, okay, this connection doesn't necessarily gives me this progress anymore on spiritual plane or energetic, just this inner connection. So you have to recognize that, and decide, like, do you want to go up, or do you want to get stuck on this connection because once it was super beautiful, and once it was giving you this extra progress or extra stimulation. So I think this is just a lesson of recognizing that not all the connections have to last, even if they were comfortable at some point. It's not always just about the comfort. Like, you just really need to see, do we progress together, or are we getting stuck? And that's why this connection will start to dissolve. And that's also, this is a higher guidance in there, because you will feel it in your gut, if it's like how it works, what this connection brings you.
Yeah. But the higher guidance, to go back into the topic in here, is guide you with everything. Even if your connections is stuck, you're gonna be like, why we are stuck? Where we are stuck? Because if you are getting stuck on the way up, oh, you're gonna get stuck on the way down. If you think you're not, for it. But talking about this, the guidance is with you. You to trust the higher guidance about the journey itself. You may go out and search information, but there is going to be a different information about this and about this and about that and so on. But internally inside of you, you know what kind, how does it feels the information you're seeking it. So the way she and I operate, so it's like we're getting the energies, we know how that goes, we're getting the download, we look at it, and then we go and search it. how that, and then everything begins to resonate, then we'll confirm that. But you have to do this within yourself as well. The reason is this is called like quality assurance, for example. You got informations, you're not so sure about the informations, you're matching some kind of like informations in there, and you see it out there. But you say that something is not really the way it is. And then you read more, and then you find it. Somehow the universe comes in, it brings in it within you. And all of a sudden, you get exactly the way you feel of that consciousness in there. And that consciousness, it comes in and it says like, here, that's what the guidance was for. And then you learn it, you verify that, and then that is the truth. Because you got yourself to the higher conscious, you got to this guidance that comes within you, and guess what? You verified it. And then you verify it with other people that says like, yeah, the same thing happened to me. It's the same road. You're walking on that road that other people was there before you. That's how it goes. All right. Can the getting stuck or discomfort and separations be a type of avoidance? Oh, oh, oh my gosh. Now we're talking about avoidance, avoid. Oh, that word lately it's been in our language too much. Um, can get stuck. Yeah, it can get stuck or discomfort and separation. But talking about avoidance, if you look at it, the avoidance, uh, you look at it within yourself, the avoidance is of what? Because I look at it, quite a few people within the both sides, the runner chaser. If you take a look at it, within the avoidance, it comes in of you avoiding a job to be done. This is like you're going to work and you were given a task, and all of a sudden it's like, um, can we have John does it? And he getting stuck because he don't want to perform. And then all of a sudden, if you go to do a job in there at your work, and it's like, oh well, you can just sit here and relax, and you're like, Kenny John does it. I don't want to sit and relax. And then they put you on a dish job that you always constantly have to do something. Can they just this and this? And you're like, man, what did I did that for? Avoidance is so big, is so um, large. Why do you avoiding things? And the avoiding can come for a lot of reasons. This is a so humongous topic we can talk about with it. But if you have to talk about the avoidance within the twin flame, one of the biggest avoidance of within the twin flames, not doing their inner work. The biggest avoidance and the biggest things of the journeys within the couples is one or the other or both. They're avoiding the doing the inner work. And the inner work is involving not only between them, not only within them on a personal level, we're talking about the inner work of understanding the higher consciousness and the guidance as well in there. So, talking about all this within, I mean, if you look at it, the void is nothing. Like you don't want to do nothing, and you want only just to receive, and you're avoiding to do the job that in order to get the things done. And this is why the people get stuck because they're avoiding. They're avoiding things within. It's all take a look at it. Usually, if there is avoidance within the connections, it could be the one, the other, or could be at the both. They don't want to do the necessary needing, work with this. Darling, if you have something to say.
Yeah, I think that's true, but because if you feel stuck, like things are not moving forward, chances are that, we all have our visions for people. Many people talk about the union, that they say that, oh, separation will end one day and then you will become the union. But people are getting too much caught up with this union idea. And also, we all have in mind this specific person. So one thing is a really focusing on our inner work and just accepting, although it's not comfortable, but accepting that this person who got you ignited in the first place, that might not be the person that you're supposed to continue your journey with. Of course, we want that because there was this emotional attachment, but that can keep you stuck in the journey too, because it's like, it's, as I said, like it can be very uncomfortable and sad that you just have to recognize that this is life, like this is journey, that we have our preferences, we have our wishes, but if you're doing your work and you progress on your journey and the other person is not, you cannot meet at the same level of consciousness because this person is not there. So would you really rather get in this lower level with that person, and it wouldn't be like harmonized, like there wouldn't be balance in this relationship in the first place. So instead of having the vision of imbalanced relationship with the person that is clearly it's not doing his or her work, just have to accept we're all going different ways, and you progress. You just have to put aside this any kinds of preferences you have regarding the person, and just see what the universe it's really orchestrated for you in the first place. Because as we said multiple times, if one person doesn't perform, it's their problem, but you're free to continue with your journey. Since you were put on that in the first place, you just can continue, and you just have to be a little bit patient, because the moment you raise in awareness, you will be attracting not the same match in terms of awareness. So the more you're connected with your inner self, you will have the same person that is also connected at the same level with your inner self. So I think this is just the whole idea here is just putting this idea of a one ideal person you have in mind a little bit on the shelf. Like it doesn't matter. This is their journey. But you have to just focus on yourself and see what life brings you, because it's once you open that for that, and there is this element of trust, we were saying trust in the energies or trust in where your life takes you. They can you give the green light to all these things that are already aligned to you, to to get these things unfolded, and you will see how many new connections you will start getting in your life, because you acknowledge, I'm ready to do the work, I'm ready to go to the next stage and see. And the person, let them be. Like we are free to choose, whoever we want to have in our life. We don't have control over it, but you just have to put yourself in the center.
All right. Uh, Moni, Paulina, how did you know this was a twin flame? Did she had a destiny spiritual sign?
Hmm. There were many signs, but the most clear one, like first I remember with my previous connection, we were kind of researching what is this connection about. I was not aware at that point because I was really not that spiritual when this connection happened to us. But the twin flame label came to me, even though I had no idea what is it. But we read, and based on that, I kind of had a sense that the storm, the separation will happen. I knew that. The other person was like, of course not. We are in this big love. Like, no way. We just jumped over the stage. We are, forever love. I knew that something will be coming. And then the separation happened. So I don't know if I brought it or that was just necessary. But since then, since the moment of separation, my spiritual growth just really expanded and exponentially just started to get higher and higher. And I read somewhere that that's the best sign that you can get. If the connection gives you this spiritual growth and starts you on the spiritual journey, that there is no other proof, no better proof for you that that's a twin flame connection. This is just one way of putting people in the ascension process. So based on that, it was, and of course, like if you tap into your spiritual side, you will start seeing 1111s and all this telepathy and the weird dreams and all this. So altogether, it was just enough proof to changed me, the skeptical Paulina. Like I didn't believe in anything. I didn't believe in God. Like there was nothing for me. It was just we live and die and that's it. But since this connection started, within 2 years I changed so much and I started really realizing that it's way more than what we normally see in 3D. And step I kind of embraced this journey, and I try to put to my head as quick as possible that it's not about other person. And it was not comfortable always, and I had the reminders and mind games playing, coming into play, but I just kept pushing through, and it was working. This inner work was giving effects, and self love was growing more and more. And I think that's the proper way, just to really shift the focus a little bit more and focus, really appreciate the spiritual growth that is happening.
All right, next question, Natalia. Hi, Paulina and Dio. One question. Can you tell me more about your common subconsciousness? Consciousness? Is there any? Oh, that's a very broad aspect. Sometimes the consciousness that she and I have, or the subconsciousness, if you look at it, we're going deep. Sometimes we're going with her deep. I mean, I don't know for some of you what that deep means, but we're going deep. Uh, we,
I'm sorry.
yeah,
Can you still hear me well?
yeah.
My headphones died.
Okay, we can hear you perfectly. Um, and talking about this subconsciousness and consciousness, we subconsciously knew things were brewing between us. But, we didn't listen to the guidance, so we knew that we were not ready. I mean, we got together, we looked up for the first time, it was like a year ago, and so on. And we both like, we're not ready, separation. But that was like how the subconsciousness, but even back there and like a year ago, they show us. They show us how to work. Me and her last year, we did a lot of great work. We learn how to cooperate between us. We learn how to investigate things, how to dig things up. And you would see that her subconsciousness, it's like, I'm searching for this, and I'm like, yeah, I knew it. Here is, that is what you're looking for. But we accept this as a, I would say, normal. I mean, she can tell you things. I wish that we were with her. Sometimes we're laughing. Like, I mean, we have some of those moments recorded when we work. That's kind of like an example what the connections is the twin flame is when I do the work. But
Yeah, but I think it gets more and more, especially, these messages through dreams. And like sometimes even I'm surprised. Like I dream about something and Dio says, "Oh, I was reading about it." And he shows me the picture that he was researching, and I saw exactly the same picture as that dream. Where did I see it? I really don't have this vast knowledge of astrology and how the stars cluster are aligned and how it's, and clearly that was from the picture that he was researching. So there were quite a few examples of that. Like somehow it feels like they allow me to enter his mind or his consciousness, and I'm just getting this more information from that side. It's very interesting how it looks. It's keeping us connected more and more.
and yeah, okay. Uh, uh, Wicked Cloud. Hi, thank you for coming in. Hello, dear and Paulina. Been in a while. What Paulina recently mentioned, it hit home very well. The stickiness, blame game, 99 positive, 1 negative. Negative was still wins. We are not talking anymore. Devastated. Uh, it is about, I don't know, Paulina, if you want to answer that in there.
Yeah, I would say just respect yourself. Like it doesn't bring much positive if you're engaged in negative conversation, like, because it may happen that this person will show disrespect, and it's just, as much as this person is your twin flame or get you ignited on a journey, like, you just have respect for yourself. And is it really a relationship or connection you will have with another person, or there's clearly some imbalance? Because it's, there is no excuses for someone showing disrespect. Like, this is not a natural state that how people should communicate with each other, despite whether or not the universe orchestrated the meeting in the first place or not. And this is just a matter of putting yourself as a, as I said, like, as a center. And then from this center was the once the center is in a proper space, and you build this self-respect and self-love, then you can start realizing, okay, this connection, is it healthy for me? Is it healthy objectively? Or there are some unhealthy behaviors in there? So it's just, I would say, if the connection doesn't want to talk to you, we are all free to talk to however we want and to whomever we want. It's just acknowledging our free will, and people are free to go and back if they want to go back. That's the kind of people you want to have with you and around you.
Yeah, I want to mention something about this 99 positive and 1 negative. So you may have a lot of situations, a lot of things that are positive. But if you're 99% of your attention, it's focused on that one tiny, tiny thing negative, of that one thing that it's negative, you're making it bigger. I mean, there is a saying here in Bulgaria, don't make elephant out of the mosquito. But when you put so much attention in there, within that 1% that wins the negative. And if you look at it, the negative, actually, this is a very good time. You guys got me on fire right now. I don't know. Let's go. Let's rock this boat a little bit in there. But talking about this, when you have the same consciousness with your connections and you are there within to work this out, you gotta be happy you have negative things. You're gonna be, Dio, are you nuts? No, I'm not nuts. That's what you got together to overcome that negative thing. Because when you overcome that negative thing, it's not gonna be 99%. It's gonna be 100%. But if you focus within this and you pointing fingers towards your partner, it's not happening. You were given this one thing that it's negative there. It is like you to overcome it. You now overcome it with that person, but that person was not good to overcome it with you. Next, the universe is gonna be you trying to run away from that 1%. So look at it within that 1%. What happened in there? What it was you, it was your partner. You reevaluate both two sides, because the next time you have a soul connections, the next time you're gonna be coming in, I'll bet you will know that this story is repeating, and you're like, wait a minute, bing, 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 bing. Alarm in the house, alarm in the house. There is something is repeating. Bam, bam, bam. And guess what? You go inside of it with yourself. And if you do proper evaluations of what's going on right now within this, you solve that negative side right now. When the next time comes in, you know exactly what to do. And I'll bet you it's totally opposite of what you'd act or react within that. So you can be triggered with this because you're learning it, how to overcome. But how you learn? Higher conscious, higher guidance helping you with it. All right, that's what I was about to say. Where are we at? Okay, did the chat got blown up?
Natalia?
Uh, oh, yeah, Natalia, did Paulina awaken simultaneously as you do or later? I noticed on my early stages that my TF was not aware of it, maybe doesn't want to confess.
That's interesting, actually. Because I was trying to think about that recently, like what is exactly the what awakening means? Because my journey clearly somehow started back in 2014, although I didn't know that. I was kind of engaged in the connection, but from this runner perspective, so this unaware perspective. But I remember that 2014 was somehow important year in terms of twin flames and all this. Hmm,
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
It was pretty much the same time. For me, I said awaken. But talking about this awakening, and since you started, I noticed at my early age that my TF was not aware of, or maybe he does not want to confess. Here is what I am noticed actually within this, in there. Um, if you put that attentions of noticing things in there that maybe he's not aware of, he does not want to confess, you're still looking at within him. If I was you, Natalia, in there, take a look at it inside about this notice, because what you notice within them is actually within you. They're your reflection of what you are, what that projections that it's in there. So you might be confessing to them, you might done it to there, but you're expecting them to confess as the way you do. But if they're not ready to confess, if they're not ready for this journey, if they're not aware of what is really going on, well, give yourself the truth that that's not the person you're gonna go with it. It doesn't matter how hard that is in there. So, talking about that simultaneously awakening is evolving actually the connections that is simultaneously connecting awakening, I will call this process in there. It is related within the divine. The divine is just like, hey, you too, I got your folder. Here is your Paulina's file. Here is your Dio's file. Okay, execute it. And here you go, the higher consciousness, or I will call the Holy Spirit, however you in your case says. It comes in, it says like, okay, you two, I'm gonna meet you again. I'm gonna put you together. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get to this. I'm gonna give you all that. And that's kind of goes in there. But talking about the simultaneously things in there, they begin to happen very, very powerful. And we had a lot of simultaneously things, but we didn't listen at some point to higher consciousness the first few days at some point. But hey, that's how we know through experience, coming to give you that experience here. But today we were talking about awakening, and it was so funny that I was laughing about here. It's like Paulina asking is like, okay, well, you were born before and so on and so on and things like this, and we were discussing it about you know, I mean, we don't feel the age gap difference between us in there, and I told her, well, I was born earlier in time, so I gained the experience in the time you were born. But you need to understand that at the time you were born, you already know the experience I had, because you don't have to learn that experience the way I needed to learn. So that way, the consciousness from that standpoint, since you were born and going forward, is the same. We're talking about this simultaneously, but that is the understanding that you coming into this earth. This is why the astrology helps. You coming into this earth at that particular time, because from that particular time, you're gonna beginning to evolve. That particular time, you're gonna begin to evolve. Because it doesn't make sense you to go back and born in 1950s, will you? Would you go back and born in 1950s when you already know that experience? Maybe just for fun. I don't know. You want to choose it, right? But you're born on that year that you were born. comes in. All right. What's next? Winged Cloud. Wow, Paulina, I'm shocked how well you put that in core.
You're welcome.
Moni, it can also be fear, misunderstanding to the ego mask you as what your ego wants, not what you really think. So you hurt one another to fear and ego. Yeah, you give the wrong example of yourself. You give, yes. We're all guilty on that. Did you got it, darling?
Mm-hmm.
And
And it gets trickier and trickier until the threshold. The ultimate, not out. There is no ultimate test in this journey, but there will be a moment that your mind will be tested because you will have to go against your mind, or against. Maybe that's the moment you have to really let go of a person that you consider as your twin flame, and you're holding on to this one person. But just try to imagine there is unlimited number of people in this universe, and there is someone, if that's meant to be, the moment you get let go of this person will be back, but maybe not. Maybe there is someone out there who is really well suited. Our knowledge is limited. We don't know what we need, and we don't know our stage of development. So the same way, we don't want to block it. Like, let's see what's on the other side. Always beyond the threshold.
always beyond the threshold, but you have to learn of trusting the higher guidance, surrender of your own visions, just and let go, let go of the things to unfold naturally, guys, naturally. Just remember that on this journey, let the things unfold naturally. You're pushing, you're rushing, you're messing. This is like you're trying to bake in a cake and you're in a hurry up and you're forgetting the key ingredients. Sugar. What did you make it without sugar? Is that a good cake without sugar? So that's what this is. I mean, you're totally right, Mooney. Totally right about that. Mooney, did you all spiritual destiny sign fit together? Uh,
There were
Science.
many.
There with
Including visions, including some, like what people mentioned. Like, I wouldn't say it was all of them. I think really it depends on the journey. um I've had some dreams, for example, but it was, again, my mind was putting a face, trying to put a physical face on what I was experiencing through my journey. So since there is emotional evolvement, I would see it through the lens of another person, and I was trying to interpret the dreams that were meant to be to me. It was my information that I had to use, how I'm progressing with the journey. I was trying to kind of put that towards other person, just to treat it too personally. But for our connection, I think there were even like some visions and all this. It's, again, like every journey is different, but definitely there were some destiny signs. We were just not reading them properly, or we didn't want to see it in the first place because it was uncomfortable. It didn't match our vision for our current state of life. Another long-term relationship, another this. We didn't. It was not comfortable for us to begin with this connection in the first place. But you don't talk with that. You don't question what's in front of you. So
it's if you take a look at it, it wasn't comfortable in the first place. Like it's not comfortable when you are married, you have a wife or a husband, and you have a kids, and all of a sudden, poof, here comes this man or here comes this woman, and he's experiencing all this twin flame love. Is that comfortable for you? For with the whether you're at home, whether you're with your wife, with your kids, is that comfortable? No, it's not. So the journey is about to make you uncomfortable. Nothing grows in the comfort zone. Nothing. And that kind of goes. So, yeah, I mean, but there was just a, since we are both awakened, I was like, okay, are we gonna be kind of like a surrender to this and stop pretending, about the energies, and let's go. We had a great talk, great communications. We did that, and like the energies were there, the presence of the energy, the presence of divine was there. They were both kind of like, okay, you two are ready. Are you gonna cross that threshold? And we just look at each other. Okay, you're ready. Let me tell you, that moment of that ready, across the threshold, fell home. We're walking home. We were walking home. We're at home. We're in that environment there. That like the union feels complete. Okay, like the people want to have that union. Great. Now you got the union. You think the journey stops with union? Begins. Begins with the union. You are first. You go and mature it, to grow it, to understand things beyond your wild imaginations. As I said, beyond your ears. Okay? But that's how it goes. Matthew. Hey, Matthew. Glad to see you, brother. Thank you for watching us. Uh, get money in my connection. I notice we hide our true feelings to not hurt the other, but in fact that end up hurting us more. Well, the lies always hurt the relationships. Yeah, I mean, hiding it's lying in a way, and that's why you don't hide things from your connections. No matter how weird it looks like. If your connection understands you, they are not going to judge you, but they're going to ask you, what did you do that for? How about you look a little bit deeper? Can you go in there and be more aware, or go understand more? I mean, or like, hey, I have a challenge for you. I love her challenges. I will leave it that for another time, talking about challenges. So I mean, ego allergy. Yeah, I mean, come on. Uh, when I hear that ego allergy comes in one scene, guys, I like to go with movies, and that was that movie I Robot when he went to investigate it, and he goes to the office of the owner in there, and they give him a coffee and his right there, and he's like, look at it, there is no sugar. He's like, sugar. And donor is look at him, and Will Smith said like, no, 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 I'm not calling you sugar. You're not that sweet uh, in there. And he was sneezing. The guy asked him, what happened to you? And he was like, well, I have allergies of a bullshit. I mean, in the movie. But the ego allergy, that's kind of, we kind of like correlated it in there, because the ego's job is to sabotage it, to self-sabotage, to show you your weaknesses through all this, to test it. Are you really that? But the ego shows your weaknesses, but at the same time, the ego can protect you of people not to take advantages of you in a way. You can never look at it, the ego as positive or negative. I mean, nothing look like a negative and positive with it in there, because you never know what is it going on and so on. Sorry, Sensei took my attention for a little bit. Anyway, Sensei is a happy puppy on the floor. That's all. All right, where were we? Natalia, during the separations, did you to use telepathy? In my case, it is all the time. Uh,
I can try to answer that. Like there was telepathy, but I cannot see a different way rather than the higher self was sending telepathic messages or higher self of Dio. Like I don't know if that's one higher self, but something out there was sending the messages either through songs. And again, if you are want to personalize it, you will personalize it and tie it to one person. But please just don't try to do that. Like just stay open and just listen to whatever comes to you. It comes from the source. It doesn't come from the person. It comes from soul, over soul, higher self, and that's the telepathy you will have because you connect with your twin or with other your other twin and another twin with within the source. So that's the only telepathy you will have. If you need to receive some message, you will receive the message through this kind of common channel. And I think that there were some like dreams and dream songs and all this, and I take it as a telepathy. But I think it's like the message that has to be shared in the specific moment, or maybe to prove you that there is a connection with you know happening, that you're tapped in to your higher self.
yeah, to that separations, so it feels like I want to run. Okay, I'm not chasing. You already know what's going on. You feel that energy that maybe a separations is needed, maybe the things is needed. But the telepathy that you're talking about in there, sometimes people misunderstanding what telepathy is. Okay, you have to verify that telepathy with a person to understand that really that's what that channel is. Because sometimes within the obsession, within the energies in there, it actually can tap it into a message that you want to hear. And that can make the illusions within all this. Okay. But the real telepathy is about like, you know what? I had feelings about this, about feelings with that, and this is what I did. And on the other side, you just see a smile out there. Oh, you know what? I just did similar things, but with this, this, and this. Okay. I thought about this. Oh, I know we were talking about this, but sometimes that telepathy will not work. Why? Because you're gonna know that when your ego is attached in there, and when you look at it, within the energies or the communications with your soul connections, you may gonna tell them one thing that you think that might be, but it's not because they tell you no, it's not this.
And that's a good point. You may think it's telepathy, but did you talk to the person? Did this person mention, let's say you have cravings for pizza out of nowhere? You think, oh, my twin, for example, for sure he's eating pizza right now. And then if you have a chance, because otherwise there is no way to verify it, ask your twin or ask this person, were you eating pizza because I had this crazy pizza craving? And he says no. So sometimes we just try to, until it's not verified by another person, we can assume or presume that that's a telepathy. But is it really? Because if that is, I'm not saying it's not the case, because it may be the case and it happens to me with multiple people, not just Gio. But there's the good things when it happens. Just if you have a chance, just verify it first, because you may get tricked with that, and you don't want to get tricked on this journey. Just it's for you to verify those things if those assumptions that you think it's really the case.
Pizza. Talking about that
But
pizza. All right. Moni, yes, exactly. Indeed, cloud, but you think about TF, you think about it when you are in separation.
Oh, it was a reply to Winged Cloud.
Oh, okay. Um, Feeling as if he's all the time with me. If you attach too much to him, they're always, if you attach to his energy, you're always attaching to him. You're always going to feel like he's with you and so on because your focus, your attentions, your energy is with them. And here's is what you need to realize it with that. Where are you? If they're with you on that energy, where are you at that moment? Because a lot of the people, that's what they do. They focus within the twin flame, they focus within energies. I'm not saying that's your case right now, but when you're getting into that positions, where are you? You need to understand that this journey is about you to be connected, but you also have to be independent. It's not like this constantly all the time there with me. I see this that one of the people who says that they're constantly here with me, within me, in there, well, that's your all attentions is there. And you don't have energy, time, and effort for things that you need to do independently on your own. And all of a sudden, this energy, this connections is turning to a codependency situations instead of these beautifications, this beautiful love that it's designed for creation, but cannot be a creations of codependence because the one depends the job to be done of the other, and the other depends the job to be done from the other, and the job doesn't get done. That's the issue with the codependency there.
Yeah, but you know what I'm thinking right now? It's maybe we can feel the energy. Like we are connected to someone because we are connected to something. Like we are just connected to the source energy. Because like I think the way I see it more and more, those connections are just it's like you would put a face on the source energy. It's just those are just the let's say vessels. Sorry, Theo, but we are vessels of energy. So maybe Natalia, you're just connected to the universe. You're connected to the source. So just don't try to put a face on that. It's very good that you feel that. It's just imagine you're not connected to the person. Like it's very good because you're connected to yourself. So maybe it's just and again it's so complex. It's hard to
Pinpointed.
maybe explain that, and really I'm not sure if I'm getting it right, but for sure it helps to see this from this bigger picture and bigger perspective, that all the connections on the energetic level, if you feel, just think about as a connection to your higher self, you know because it looks to me that we are all connected with the higher self.
Moni, it's hard to be completely yourself. Well, actually, it gets easier. It gets much more easier. You begin when you understand and loving yourself, the journey gets easier. And that's what a lot of people don't know. That is the one big mistake within the twin flames journey is that when you are on your own, the journey gets easier. Why? You do your work. You're not depending on somebody to say it's like this and that. No, you doing the work. You learning how to do the work. As I was saying, and it's like this turning from this codependency, the other to do the work. You know, like the husband goes back home as he's waiting for the wife to cook, but he's starving to death. He knows how to cook, but he's codependent. It's like, oh yeah, the wife has to cook, or he knows how to cook, he knows how to help, but no, he's codependent. But what happens is if he knows how to cook, he helps the wife with the cooking. And she's in love with him because he helps her out. There's a magic in there. All right. Um, Okay, Blossom, you retract a message. Sorry we didn't see it because the chat was blown. Winged
Oh,
Cloud,
let's see.
no, this is
Or
absolutely amazing. Let's go.
just to
Natalia,
say about
Kundalini.
this, sorry, dear. Just to say about this being open in yourself. I think that's the basis. Like you want to be yourself in any connection. I don't even say romantic connection, anything. The whole purpose of the journey is just to first get to know yourself, but then have enough courage just to live through yourself without pretending and without putting yourself on a back plan. When you don't like something, like, you have to speak for yourself, and that's the whole journey. Once you know yourself, just work on that, like maintaining yourself all in any situation, in any mm, environment. That was just a quick. No.
Okay, Winged Cloud. We used to be able to overcome everything. Now it's become like both feel dismissed and unheard when difficult talks happen. Either runs away, always mirroring pain on a multi-level, no resolution anymore. Winged Cloud, I would love to know more about it. If you wanna, we can talk sometimes. But this seems like just by your reading in there, either one of you or both of you, you have unhealed child wounds in there because usually the child is like right away reacting of this mirroring pain. Here is the pain because you're hurting me, and this is like and when you say there is no resolutions anymore, this is like the child that does not want to play with you anymore. Like this 5 year old that he came to you, it's like hey, here is my toy, and you broke the toy, and now it's like, why you broke the toy? What happened? And now he doesn't understand that maybe an accident happened or something. He's just in a pain because of his toy, and he's like, you know what? You broke my toy. I was gonna be in the pain. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to deal with you. Instead of valuing the relationship in there, now turns down to this unhealed inner child. Kind of like a look at it in there. Natalia, awakening Kundalini means awakening. It's awakening. Kundalini can wake up as energy, not only just because you're spiritually awake. Kundalini can be awakening from above to give you a jolt when you don't listen, or giving you a jolt with when you are spiritually evolving at the moment and you going and crossing thresholds. You get those jolts of the Kundalini, just like I get those goosebumps, and within you, the whole energies of the body is in power, and you're like, then I'm gonna disappear, then I'm gonna become invisible with this energy, and so on. But that is very beautiful because you put everything in its place. Money with a cloud. If you're a twin flame, there will be a resolution because you understand one another in deep level. Beside what you're all saying to hurt one love, the money in the argument. There you go. That's a lot of truths in there. If you're a twin flame, you will understand the low and the higher selves of the both. That is true because you value the connections more than anything. And you know what that connections does. And you know you're born, and there's a one word in there. We can go through this. That's what powerful couple said. We know that whatever comes to us, we can overcome it because we value our love, not value other things. We first value the love. I mean, we have a difference. Say, we got this. Every time we get in a challenge, it's like, yeah, let's go look at it. This. We got this. And the next day we got this, and then the Kundalini comes in. It's like, oh yeah, the love is just grows right after that. Blossom Tulip. I'm only realizing that Pauline is your twin, dear. Oh wow. Thank you. When I used to listen to your videos, you two were not in contact. So wonderful. Hi, darling. Blossom, thank you, because you guys know that we're not, you know, getting it within this for it. Is that's what I always been waiting from an outside source verifications of that to verify the universe to verify this, guys. We already know it from within ourselves. We're already getting there, but it's so nice. And thank you, Blossom. You recognizing it this, and sometimes we talk about it, and I'm like, man, I'm hearing Dios talking to here, because she's talking with my energy in there. Sometimes I see Dio within her, and so on. And but I'm happy, guys. We're in the same lingo, same language, same things. I don't have to fight it. We can have heated discussions, but I still love her. We can go over to her something that she doesn't understand, or she can go something with me that I don't understand. Just to love each other. Thank you, though. All right. What is the next in the chat? Because the chat is blonde. Oh my god, I don't know. I
Natalia,
lost.
I presume that my first. Can you see it?
Natalia, I presume that my first physical meeting with the twin flame awakened my Kundalini after 2 months. Before that was very weird bubble face with a lot of ups and downs. But my chat moved. Ups and
Yeah, so
downs.
I can comment
Wanting
on
and
that
not
because I
wanting to meet in personal. Go ahead, darling. You can take over.
yeah, because I think I've been to similar situation. I was the same in my previous connection. I was a little bit worried or fearful or not prepared for the meeting, and the other person wanted to have a meeting, but I felt I haven't done my work. Like I felt that it would be too, maybe a little bit too early, but something was pushing me because, oh my god, this is a beautiful love connection. I have to push myself into the meeting although I'm not ready. And what happened, like, the whole connection ended in separation anyways. So I've had enough time to prepare myself, and the experience is being replayed again. And at some point I know I have to face it. Like, I have to be feel ready, that I'm ready for meeting in 3D, like meeting person in person. We had a few, quick meeting, but it's in my mind, I'm preparing myself, like I've done my work, and it's, I cannot escape that. This is my homework that I have to do with this connection or any other connection that will be coming the next. But at some point you will start realizing why you want to keep replaying the same experience over and over. So it's just a quick note on that, that you cannot push yourself into something if you don't feel left ready. Because it gets overwhelming, you want to be feel ready for the meeting. Mm.
Blossom Tulip. Aoi. The smiles both were amazing. Mystic chills. Moni, so Dio, I'm happy for you when did you came out to Union. Is that the girl who you were talking about all those years? Nope. It's not the same. You need to understand that the journey is the very awakening, the very first videos, the awakening, this power awakening of the twin flame, that girl that woke me up. Never saw her anymore. That's all I was gonna be saying there. And that was one of the lessons that You're learning that when some people don't want to be with you, they don't want to work with you, they don't want to overcome things with you, then I belong with you. It took me a long time to understand this. Even that years ago, I made that controversial video, Twin Flame, the replacement. I went to another to soul connection, and another soul connection, and then another soul connection. And guess what? Because Divan said, Dio, you need to learn, you need to understand the truth, you need to understand these vibrations. You came here to give this to the people. And I put you on this journey. I tried to walk out of the journey. I mean, I tried. Divine is like, oh, okay, go walk out of it. Nothing good happened, right? Then go back into your journey. And that's what the divine does all the time. Did I accepting my destiny on the fate? Yes, I did. Did I surrender to my fate and destiny? I did. Did I do the right thing? Hope I did. Time will tell. But I do my best. And but no, it's not. But here is what you need to understand as like took us a long time to understand that even in the beginning when I was talking about the twin flame that we knew that much about twin flame. Right now we maybe know that much. Maybe. Okay. Because we don't know, we can maybe understand that much, but we don't understand that much, as far as a capacity of the information. We can maybe know the informations, but we don't know how wide that information can become about the twin flame journey itself. The only thing that we get in it right now is personal journey as replacing the template of personality so you can have a better lifestyle as a soul. There you go. Yeah, I have to put any definitions on that. All right. It is a personal evolution that get ignites through somebody else. Somebody who ignites the soul. Where was I? Oh, Bianca, Dio, I follow you since my journey started end of 2016. Finding you somehow on the internet, following you and getting your guidance since then. Thank you. So happy to see you both. You're welcome, Bianca. I'm glad that you followed. Thank you for coming in here. Appreciate it. And yeah. After all, the very happy for you, Dio. You were very patient. It paid off. Talking about patience, I think that Paulina can say some few words about my patience. I want you to hear it from her.
I think that's a big lesson for you too on this journey. I think it's for all of us, but you has been practicing. But I think that's how we learn too, to do our work, and then sometimes we feel, oh, there are no results from that because my twin flame is not back. But it's just it takes a little bit of patience, a little bit of a trust and the process. I know that sometimes it feels like people are just keep repeating, oh, trust the process, trust the process. What does it mean? But be sure if you continue working, doing your work, your life's gonna get busy, and it will be busy all the time. You won't be bored during your separation phase, and your separation will get smaller and smaller because you will reconnect with yourself more and more. But it takes a bit of patience. It depends. Of course, it depends of amount of work you're doing. If you're trying to put it under the carpet, but it can vary.
Can vary, yes. Uh, Natalia, thank you, Paulina.
Welcome.
Moni, Dio, are you living together now or separate? Huh. How did I know this kind of questions is going to come up like that?
Hmm.
Well, Paulina right now is living in Canada. I'm on the other side of the world in Bulgaria. Guys, I mean, hopefully, you guys know by now we're doing a workshop in Spain. And I mean, I will say the words, wherever happens in Spain stays in Spain. Like whatever is happening in Las Vegas stays in Vegas, but in there. But we're working on it. I will just put it that way. But currently, we're physically separate, but in other ways.
That's how it was orchestrated. You don't question that. As we
Yeah.
were explaining, like, probably there is some energy that flows all across the globe. This this long distance connections, they must happen for a reason. I don't know them yet, but it looks to me that
I was just gonna say the words that Wolf mentions today in the chat. Oh boy, that energy between all four of us, that was so much going all over across the globe and in Europe. And there I'm like, oh yeah, probably it does. Probably it does. We doing a lot of activations that way. And yeah, talking about overcoming issues, I was like, no more long distance relationships for me. Oh, really? Divine is like, you haven't learned the lessons yet. Toop. There is one more for you. Talking about patience. Oh, Dio's got a lot of patience within that. And there. But he was all paid off. That patience is paid. Okay, where we are. Winged Cloud, right?
Mhm.
Yes, tiring to be the one more, often trying to fix and chase when I either runs. I end up accepting to let go and now focus on self. I deserve more, so I may detach my. Uh, so it made me detach near brute force within. Well, if you don't want to detach, the universe gonna make you detach one way or another. It's gonna send you a few messages, and after that, it's gonna be just like enough is enough. It's done. The moment you say I'm done with this, yeah. Lisa, it's good to continue the journey with a married person. Is this block within myself? It depends of the journeys in there. I mean, I speaking about it, that some of the connections in there that uh, they coming in as a married person to show you that the marriage is not proper, is not it. But at some point, that relationship either it's gonna grow and continue to do its purpose as a showing up that the love is there, or it's gonna go down. But when it go down, it's not gonna be pretty. And I mean, I know some, since I'm talking to a lot of the twin flames in there within the journeys, sometimes, within those connections there for a long years, and the one waits for the other to divorce or situations and so on. And imagine you put this 10 years of the connection and you failed sort of to fulfill what you were supposed to fulfill within the divine connections in there. You didn't recognize that connections maybe doesn't go anywhere. You are still codependent. You're still attaching to that. I mean, um, it all depends of the journey. There is a lot of different journeys within this. In there, it's all about the truth within. And if he's married, he's with you, where he's standing out within himself as a masculine energy, as a divine being. Is it with you or is it his wife? In there. And if a person cannot make up his mind about all this for years and years, he creates a stuck situation. Stuck situation for himself, for his wife, and also stuck situations with you. And this is a little bit more harder to be processed sometimes with that, because it's turning things are very sticky situations, like stuck in the mud from within. I mean, you may find some progress within this through that, through spirituality, because you love him unconditionally and you love him doesn't matter if he's with his wife or not, which is great progress on that point and there. But when I look at it for the collective, for what you do, what you come here, you to change these paradigms, you to go in a 5D, you to experience these energies, you to become your truth. Where is the truth in all this? And there. And then you're gonna find this place that somewhere in the journey, the whole situations is stuck, including probably you. I don't know how that is, Lisa. If you can share some more later on, but yeah.
And also, there can be a, that can be a situation that people are not required to have like a relationship in terms of romantic way and still be twin flames. The way I see, maybe that, I don't know how it's common in the society these days, but maybe the fact this person is married, they are supposed to have a family with someone else, but you can create this peaceful state and just create something on a 3D, but just not as a family template. It's maybe it will be showing like how you create something together and be okay with whatever state of a relationship is in 3D, but you need to make sure that there is no romantic involvement, because I think this is a little bit even beyond. Not all twin flames are supposed to have a like a romantic relationship, and I think there can be many soul connections that will be okay. Like you will just work out the balance, but you will still have your family. I don't have experience with that, but it looks to me like, why would it be limited just to this romantic relationship? But maybe it's something that will be coming more and more down the road.
To add, it feels self-betrayal to be stuck in the spiral, so I feel separations was mandatory. Separation is always mandatory, yes. The productivity has left from it the presence of pains where we didn't have this, we got this attitude anymore. Look at it. When did that attitude, we got this, stopped? What was the purpose? What was the reason? In their winged cloud. I mean, it's great sharing that information within this for it, but talking about this self betrayal, a lot of the people have this like a self betrayal, like a self doubts, like a self um, what was that other word as a betrayal? There was something else. Anyway, it doesn't come up to me, but there is there something else like
Cheating.
what?
Not cheating?
No, 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 no. Um, it will come to me. It will come to me in there. But within this, sometimes the people said like, "I cannot do this." The moment you say you cannot do this, but you are capable of it, but you only see that you cannot. Okay. Man, what was that word? Anyway, self-sabotaging yourself. The part of self-betrayal is actually you betraying yourself because you're sabotaging yourself. So while looking at this, we got this stopped. Look at it in there. That's what the answer is. You reach the wall, but you cannot cross the threshold. You did not use the spirituality to help you to get this higher guidance to cross the threshold. How the higher guidance, it tells you, okay, you can overcome this. Huh? Yeah, you can overcome. I don't know. Oh yeah, you can. Well, you need to a little bit stretch. You need to be pulled up. You're gonna be turned to a liquid. Well, I can do this. Oh yeah, yes you can. Divine knows how to just. Um, haha, that's funny, Natalia. We wanted to meet, don't wanted to meet. Such a roller coaster. I wonder if you accept to meet, will be have reduce some of the subconscious questions. The meaning is always good as long as they acceptable, but uh, most of the time when they tell me, "Oh, he agreed to meet me," and then, well, he called me an hour before the meeting, say he's not gonna make it. He does not want to meet me. There's a lot of fear and self-sabotage in that. Matthew, here is the question for the both of you. It is very easy for one on this journey to watch others and try to emulate or maybe even expect a similar journey. At what point did each of you throw your hands up in the air and totally surrender to the process? Oh, actually, at what point we give up and okay, we surrender to this process? What was that moment, darling?
For me, that was few days before we met in person, actually. I was like, universe, I'm all yours. Like, I was in such a good state in life that everything was sorted out. And I was kind of ready to just see where really, like, what's the purpose, this kind of like a higher purpose, or where my journey is supposed to take me. And I really didn't care which person, which connection. Even I was ready to, even without the connection, I was just really curious what's my next step. And yeah, a few days after we met in Florida. And then, so that for me, it was obvious that I have to continue with this journey because you ask and you shall receive. So you don't question what was in front of you just after you ask.
Um, when you look at it, my position, Matthew, that was like a few months before I think was like I don't want to say New Year's resolutions or anything or so on. I don't even remember the chat when people ask me, "Do are you looking for a connection?" As like I say, I don't looking for a connection. I will attract if it's something needs to be to within me and so on. And I said I'm looking at to go get a property in Spain, and I'm not worried about it. I'm following this path. Even I went January. I went for the first time in the southern Spain. That's my second time going to Spain. I wanted to see how it is and so on and so on. And I was okay by myself. I don't need somebody like I was ready within this journey that I surrender. I said like if the divine's gonna bring me somebody, they're gonna bring me somebody. And the only person I'm gonna be looking for it is the guy upstairs. You know, this force upstairs. If they saw it's gonna be you're gonna be on your own, fine to the rest of my life. I'm ready to be on my own. If the divine says you're going to be having somebody, okay, I'm going to be having somebody. And that was the point in there. We surrender. I surrender to this process because there is no other point. I was sitting there in the front of this gate that I was seeing all the time. This kind of like a gate of the truth, and it's like pass through it, and I see it, and I'm like, okay, I just gotta sit here. What I'm doing here, I'm enjoying. Might as well you enjoy where you at in that journey. And how did you stop listening to others and expecting similar journey? Um, you get the guidance. I mean, you get the guidance. I got actually connections when I was there, and some situations in there is like well, you should be in connection with this, and there should be connection with that, and some other things, and so on. You actually, there was a time that I stopped listening others. There was because I was listening to the divine and the journeys and the energies, the flow of the current present moment. And the divine is gonna find some people, situation, and so on to knock you off of that. just so it can test you. Is your strength? Is your truth? Do you really believe in that higher consciousness that I'm giving you, this higher guidance that I'm giving it to you? Let's see how strong you are. I mean, if you are who you are, you will do what it's supposed to do. And maybe people can see, oh, Dio, you're wrong. Maybe Dio, you're this. Maybe, you're not for the first time. Or, you know what? I zipped all that out. Some of the people, they actually they zip themselves out. I don't have to do anything about it. But my job is to stay in the truth, being an example. I'm doing my job. If somebody can say something, that's okay. But talking about this is very important that when a disconnection comes in, this situation comes in, it's you, your partner, and the divine, nobody else. And I said that really at the beginning of the journey. You have to have this mastering, not listening to the others. The higher consciousness, the higher guidance, the divines are with you. But you gotta recognize this. And people are suffering because on the other side there is some other things there. But it's a journey. Great questions, brother. I love that. Okay, darling, you got something to say?
Yeah, but this may be about listening to others. For me, it was quite at the beginning of the journey. I think once I was very dependent on what people had to say, and just needed some guidance from people in general. Like I was not able to decide on my own. That was quite a learning curve, and since I realized I can do make my decisions, I'm gonna stick to it, and like I don't follow any guidance anymore instead of my, in addition to my inner guidance. But there were some moments, for example, people were asking or wondering, oh, why you're not in a relationship for that long, the separation for almost like year and a half. Normally people enter the relationships, I don't know, maybe 2 months after breakup or 2 months after having some connections and relationships. But I set a standards for myself. And that's what I kept talking to people, I'm not desperate to look for anything. It's just I was so busy just working on myself, and I saw that entering your next relationship wouldn't be any of good, because it would keep me a little bit, I didn't feel ready. I really wanted to make sure that I'm ready before I enter to any next relationship, if there it's supposed to be. So I think that's not listening to others, and you cannot compare your journey to others. It's so different, and you don't know how many soul connections you have to have before you get it right. Because we were also talking about it, like once, why some people have to have like 6 7 deep connections. They think that's it, and then they break, and again. For some people it's enough to have like one connection, two connections, and then they get into union. So it's not black and white. It's such a complex issue.
Um, just to share something about here. How do you stop listening to others and expecting similar journey? Um, how do you stop listening to others? You need to understand one thing. When you listen to the others, you gave your own willpower to them. If you know this and you understand this value of your own self, you're not going to listen to others. Doesn't matter what they're telling you to you. And that is about it, that you getting into this because this similarity of the journey, but this time was different. With her was different. I knew it. There was a kind of like quite a few moments that when we met in Florida that I see a visions, like she's sitting right there in the front of me. I'm like, that I'm dreaming. That I, what's going on with me? What is, what is this? What's cooking? What's that? And then get some more and more of this energy. And then it came to be that Everything happens naturally. But I stopped listening to everybody. Just zip that up. Allow the energies to talk about it. So that's what it was. And for me, every time I think I have figured that out somehow, wriggles free and escapes, laughing out loud. Oh. So I have to look from within you. What is the wriggle and what is the escape? If you look at within you, what is causing that wriggles? Maybe something within you caused the wriggles, and the wriggles later turns to escape. Look at it from within you, and don't look from within another person. And when you fix the things within you, you're gonna stop attracting people that doesn't matter how you act or react, there's not gonna be no wriggles and escapes. I hope you get it, brother. But I'm happy to see you here. All right, where we are. Natalia, um, Winged Cloud. Actually, it was not funny. My TF wanted to meet me in person after we met by coincidence in a some meeting website. He was pretty scared because we felt as know each other. Well, it's not funny those meetings like that. They know you're gonna be there so on. But looking at within this, in there is no coincidences as well. But if he's pretty scared, why he's scared? Fear? You don't have a fear or love. And the journey is gonna ask you to face your fears all the time. You think you're conquering fears? It's gonna be tested. It's a spiral. You're gonna face similar fear, maybe not that bigger, but you're gonna face it. Then you're gonna face it again, and you're gonna face it again until you master it. You're mastering to have no fears, and the only thing that left is love. Purging. You all guys know what I'll be talking about. Next to 3 years, there's gonna be only a purging, purging, purging. It's gonna be a good purge, but it's gonna be a good things afterwards. Where we are. Winged Cloud. No, I understand the mathematically impossible coincidences can throw anyone off. All love is what it's meant to be. To be it. Namaste. And after some time, then we met and felt a very special bond between us. That's all. Lorna, sabotage. Yeah, self-sabotage. Okay. Did your meeting have a yin yang destination or situation? Yin yang.
I don't know what that means, but yin yang was popping up quite a bit of time recently. If you can specify more, you can answer.
Yin yang was actually today we were talking about. What was that?
There was these particles there was some research on that.
Yeah, I wish they can share it with you guys, but since we don't have permission from the website, no, we don't have permission.
No,
I can share it. I can share it here through the screen with you, but they can see it right away. Oh, you can share the link. Yeah, you can share the link actually, so the
I
people
think
can
since
see.
it's online.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sent it to Dio today. I don't know. We did it. We just found it today, but apparently there are some yin yang particles that they discovered, and they put a picture of that. I found it interesting.
Yeah, lately Dio's been working so much on miniature particles and the void and the energies beyond my level of understanding. And I'm telling Paulina, what did I getting from all the downloads within me? And she's come back in the next day when I go to sleep. I usually sleep by now. And she's like, here's the proof of what you said, Dio. Poof. right next to me. That's how we work. Or she's talking to me, and then I give her the proof to her. That's the power of the connection, guys. And we love it. All right. Uh, but in our situations, in there, the energies that were just, what was the word of this circle that puts everything together? We were talking about Wolf and Mary yesterday.
Yeah, we were talking that people are reaching this, try to reach this balance, but they forget about the circle that encircles this yin yang symbol and this force that keeps it all together. Hmm.
Yeah, talking about the thought, what can we do and accomplish together? The most important questions of the whole mystery. So that question, guys, begins in the origin. That questions of the origin of the void. So, man, it's a lot of information today. Wow, 2.5 hours, darling. We're doing okay. You okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Keep on going, right? So, what is that in you? Okay. Hopefully we didn't miss anything. Blue. Hi, Blue. I have been very triggered recently for a majority of you already know your TFs as a person experiencing love. For me, is nothing beside my fate. My TF and never showed me his love to me. I don't know him as person. I don't understand this journey anymore. He began a ghost for 3 years. I never got a single answer why. Ghosting. A lot of the people are ghosting because of fears that if you find the truth about them, you're gonna ghosting them. So since they have a fear of ghosting, you ghosting them because there is something within them. They're ghosting you first, and they don't want to give you an explanations why. Usually that is a has something to do with a personality distortions or disorders in there. So ghosting in the psychology is more related into the higher ends personality disorders. And we're talking about like a bipolar disorder, narcissistic personality disorder in there for, and that's what this is. That's what the ghosting is. You ghosting personality because you are afraid, you have a fear that they'll find the truth behind all this. So if the person doesn't give you an answers, get basically a closure. You have to heal yourself. That is required a lot of self-love and pay attention to you in there. Maybe that was not even that energy because sometimes you get triggered, like the person who comes in that catalyst experience. The catalyst only comes in, lights up your soul, and then poof, the aliens take them away. You don't see them anymore in your life. Then you're wondering what actually happened. So maybe that's what your case. Maybe you should take a look and begin your personal development with yourself. That's why I can give you like suggestions in there.
Can I share something?
Mm-hmm.
At first, that came to me first thing in the morning, so I wrote it down. Probably I should make a video or something, but don't settle for maybe. This maybe this person will be back or not. Respect yourself, respect your life, and don't put your life on hold. And I think I can be kind of an example for that because if I really was thinking about this person who ghosted me 2 years ago, we wouldn't be talking today. And I think there will be something that is missed in a community. And I think that's just an example. You have choices always. Like you can spend lives, years waiting until this person gets you closure, or you can just respect that, okay, if this person left, let them leave. But you're responsible for your life. You're not responsible for the connection. You're responsible for what you do within the connection. So I don't know, there's always choices, but putting yourself just to wait and maybe this person will be back, what if not? And we were talking yesterday with Wolf and Mary, and Wolf was mentioning about some lady. She talked to her that she was waiting for 20 years to get the person back. Like she was waiting for a person, but from what I understood, the person never went back. So just think about that. Do you really want to put your life on hold? And as much as again, emotional attachment will be there, but you just have to see that from your perspective, because your life goes on, like no matter what, and being in this ghosted state, just asking for the closure, is like, do you really need a closure, or can you just move on and just see what else is for you on this journey? Because if you started it, there is way more rather than just waiting for another person to go back and just getting dependent on just one person and one connection.
Imagine that you got into this connection, you got into the journey, and that person, you begin to develop a family or kids or so on, and all of a sudden you end up in a situation and that person ghosting you. What are you gonna do then? Is he's good for your journey? Is he good for all this purpose? And that's what you have to look at it within the ghosting. I was studying it the last year and a half when I was studying psychology in there about all this. And that's what the ghosting is very much known about. This type of personality that they told you something, and later on, that was they only told you just to get you, but they cannot perform. They failed to perform. And when you see that they failed to perform, you begin to understand the reasons behind it. And then when you understand the reasons behind it, they feel that you understand the reasons behind it. And after that, they're ghosting you by default because they failed to tell the truth, to living by the truth. Since within them is that portions of protecting the lies in there, in order the lies did not become exposed in there into the open, they're ghosting you. They don't want to talk to you. You're texting them and messaging or however, or you're waiting for it, or so on, or so on. Or there is maybe whatever the situations is in there. But the ghosting is one of the worst self destruction, I would call it. Because the more you're living in fear, the more you're blocking yourself for the energies to heal in there. You cannot process in there. You only can demand energies from others, but you're not able to sustain. And this is why usually the people with these disorders, they like to have more than just one or two connections in there. So if the one fails, they can depend on something else. When I look at it in the psychologists in there. So it all depends within all this but the result is one thing. You to learn self-love, you need to have boundaries, not to attract any more people like that. So look at it in there. All right, Natalia, indeed, fears were definitely both sides and still doing this shadow side. Oh, the shadow, you're always going to deal with the shadow. I mean, the shadow is also a part of the unknown. But also the shadow has two flavors in there. The shadow is the things that you don't know or the things that you hide. What is shoved underneath the rug in there? But there is a shadow that you in there that you inherit from your bloodline, you inherit from your culture, inherited from your religion. That inner work right there is takes you time to clear that out. Okay, because when you're free of all this, you find your true self, then the true self is gonna tell you, now I'm ready to build. Now I'm ready to be in a perfect relationship. Now, universe, I'm ready. Now I know what it takes. That is a good moment when you do this to yourself. Andrea, thank you for coming in. Great insight. But thank you, dear. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, guys. All right, so if there is no more questions, just giving you a reminder, come and meet us in Spain. We're gonna be doing the workshop with Wolf and Mary, and we're gonna be bringing you so much goodies in there because of this. Do you have an age gap? Darling, do we have an age gap?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. We were talking about it. So funny. Preparing us for this speech, hasn't it? The universe is funny. And
Should we say?
go ahead. We already talked about this before the video.
Okay. Suppose the now it's 19 years. So I don't know if for twin flame journey it's a long or not. It doesn't feel like any age gap though. Just a number.
We don't feel the age gap between us. There is no age gap between us. As energy, as the way it is, and so on. It's just that's how it goes. I mean, you can feel the energies. There is no age gap in there. The consciousness, the same consciousness, brings the this equality of this physical age gap, and then poof, it is what it is. Okay, guys. So that's all it is. Well, thank you guys for coming in. Thank you for watching us, supporting us. Appreciate everything, and was a great pop-up actually. Good idea. It was a good idea. And if you guys need something or questions or anything, you can always comment on any of the posts or anything in there, and we'll try to do the best as I can.
At some point, I think maybe that would be useful. I know you used to do that in the past, having people suggesting some of the topics that they are interested at the end of the chat. Maybe we can try to do something like that to make a, the list of what people are struggling or what they are interested in. Those next step in 12 life journey. We can do it next time. But thank you all for questions, and it's really helpful, and thanks for sharing your stories because we are all in this together.
Lauren, I learned from you both that the TF is an energy. Maybe you should consider hanging up a sign. TF is energy.
It
Thank you.
really is. Like, I think we will have some more comments on how this journey it really is. It's like connecting to the twin flame energy and having multiple twin flames. Like, all the concepts are really very well understood if you try to think of this way, not very personal about the whole journey. I think we should start a playlist or something that just on this specific topic and explanation, because it makes it way more clear and even easier to navigate and more interesting.
More interesting.
Thanks,
Exactly.
Lorna.
Talking about the energy. Yeah, Lorna, thank you. All right, guys. Well, sharing some love and light with you guys. And, thank you for coming. What happened to my hearts? Be here. There you are. And here's some gifts for you. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.